Hey. Time for another out-of-this-world story from rSpace. When the aisle turns into a tightrope, sometimes calling off the wedding is the bravest step you can take. Today on rSpace, OP's ex-fiancé has a new roommate. I wonder if he's helping with the rent or just the heartbreak. My fiancé, 26 female, had cheated on me, 27 male, with a married coworker, 42 male, of hers, and is also allowing him to live with her in her apartment. My fiancé, 26 female, and I, 27 male, had been together for nearly 5 years after meeting in college. My partner and I are both Indian, but were born and raised in the US. Despite challenges like coming from different religious backgrounds and periods of long distance, we got engaged in early December of 2023, with plans to get married in December of 2024. We live in different states due to my job and her pursuing a doctorate nurse practitioner degree while working a nursing job at a hospital. Things took an awful turn when February 2024 hit. Some additional background. In mid-December 2023, when I was with her at her place of residence, we grabbed brunch with her future affair partner, 42 male, and his wife, married for 8 years. The future affair partner was a coworker where she had a great relationship with. I never got any bad vibes from him. In fact, he seemed to be a good guy. He and his wife even gave my fiancé and me Christmas gifts after we had met. Fast forward a bit. My fiancé was with me during Valentine's week, and everything was great between us that week. I did notice, however, that she was texting her coworker a bit too often to the point that I even took notice. Again, I trusted her and didn't think too much of it at the time. She wasn't hiding it either, even suggesting for us to watch a movie that the coworker recommended. Eventually, she had to catch the flight back to her residence due to her job and left on a Wednesday morning. The day after, she texted me that she was going to grab brunch with the coworker. Again, there was nothing wrong with it at the time for me. I knew they were good friends, and I had no problem with it. However, in hindsight, all the problems started with that brunch. For the next week, I did notice she was texting me a little less often, and she was a bit more distant towards me. She texted me that she felt off, and I asked what was going on, and all I said was it was stress from school and work. The reality was much worse. Eventually, I got my first D-Day. She called me on February 28th that night. She confessed that she had kissed and loved the coworker the day before. She said, "I never thought I could love more than one person at the same time," and that she felt she loved him in a past life. She is Hindu. Obviously, just hearing all those things upset me, and I was in shock. She mentioned that the brunch she had with him was where he confessed his feelings for her. That was what was bothering her the week I noticed she felt off and distanced toward me. She described to me that this happened suddenly on the night of February 27th and had a lot of consequences for both of them. After our nightly call, she got a text from her affair partner that he wanted to talk in person about something. They met at a bar to discuss the state of their relationship. The details I'm honestly not too sure about, even now. I guess for some reason the bathroom wasn't working at the bar and the affair partner had to use the bathroom. And my fiancé suggested him to use the bathroom at her place. This somehow led to a kiss at her apartment. I asked her straight out if she had also had sex with him. She said no. I believed her. More on that later. My fiancé also said she was confronted by the affair partner's wife that same night. Unbeknownst to them, the affair partner's wife was tracking his location and confronted my fiancé and the affair partner at my fiancé's apartment. The whole confrontation was negative, to say the least. I don't have the full details about what happened between the three of them, but all I know is that the affair partner confessed that he loved my fiancé during that confrontation in front of the affair partner's wife. My fiancé reiterated how much she loved me and told me she broke off contact with the affair partner and told him that she wished she never met him. I myself was still in shock and needed a few days to process the whole thing. I texted her in a limited fashion compared to how I was in the past. For more context, at this point, we had already booked a wedding venue set for December 2024 and had booked wedding vendors, and she had bought wedding dresses as well. So the fact that she had done this was such a shock to me, given how much investment we had put into each other. She was supposed to go home to where her parents lived to pick up a wedding dress she had bought the first weekend of March 2024. However, she wasn't in the right mindset and decided not to go. Her immediate family thought this behavior was unlike her, so they actually drove all the way to her place to understand what was going on with her. After a few days of processing this myself, I still thought the relationship was salvageable. I thought to myself, okay, it's just a kiss, even though she said she loved him. She said she broke off contact. We needed to go to couples counseling and pause any sort of wedding plans this year and just work on us. I asked her if we could call again on Saturday, March 2nd, to talk about our relationship. She agreed. We called on Saturday. I explained to her that we needed to pause wedding planning. She agreed but said we actually need to stop the wedding entirely as well. I asked why. She said that I knew why. After a few seconds, I realized the unthinkable. I reluctantly asked if she had also had sex with him. She said yes. And I broke down and wailed on the call. We basically broke it off at that point. She asked if we could have limited contact, and I agreed, mainly because her family knew the full extent of her actions and essentially disowned her out of shame. I didn't want her to be isolated, and I felt comfortable enough to keep contact because she broke off contact with the affair partner. That was my assumption at the time. In the next weeks, I was surrounded by a good support system to get me through it. My parents came down to give me company after I told them of my fiancé's cheating. They were sad for me, but they were also relieved I wasn't going through with the marriage due to the religious differences. I was raised Christian. I also hung out with friends for another week that came down to my apartment to give me company and support as well. In those weeks, I was going back and forth about giving my fiancé another chance and attempting reconciliation. My justification was that my fiancé showed remorse, was accountable, and broke off contact with the affair partner. My plan for going through with reconciliation was that I needed to have access to her communications, as we needed to either attend discernment, couples counseling. She and I had to go through individual counseling, and we also needed to define boundaries more clearly. That was my plan. In my limited contact with her, I asked if we could have a call later in the week to discuss things. She agreed. I brought up the idea of reconciliation to my parents 2 nights before the scheduled call. They were not in agreement with my decision. They said I was making a mistake. Then my mom said something odd. For reference, my parents had met my fiancé's parents already, and they occasionally called each other. After the whole cheating situation, my fiancé's mom called my mom at some point to vent and debrief about the whole thing to her. In that call, my fiancé's mom told my mom that the affair partner was with my fiancé at her apartment when my fiancé's parents were confronting her about it. I was shocked when my mom told me this. My fiancé had said she broke off contact with him. Why would he be with her when her parents were confronting her? I texted her that night while she was at work asking, "Is the affair partner living with you?" Her first response was, "Why are you asking that?" Obviously, I wasn't thrilled with the initial response. It's a simple yes or no question, and I felt like I had a right to know given our history and situation. But eventually, she confessed that the affair partner's wife kicked him out of their house, and the affair partner was spending thousands of dollars on hotels, and my fiancé allowed him to live with her because of that. When her parents confronted her, he was only there initially for her support, but is now living with her afterwards. I was livid. This was absolutely disrespectful to our relationship, letting the affair partner live with my fiancé. I straightforwardly told her that it was a bad effing idea to have him at her place, and her response was, "Why are you saying that? He just needs a place to stay for now." I never thought in my life I would have to explain my thought process for something like that. I thought it was obvious. My simple explanation was that the affair partner ruined our relationship, and her response was, "Oh, P, please, I ruined him and his wife." I was flabbergasted. Why was she prioritizing him over me, the person she said yes to marrying just 3 months ago? I mentioned that the reason I wanted the call was that I wanted to try reconciliation, but after she kept this hidden from me, I immediately reconsidered. Her response was that even if I didn't want to work on us, it wouldn't have been the same as before. I told her not to bother calling me if he was still at her place. She begged me not to say that, to stop saying that. I wanted to have closure with her in some capacity, but after him living with her and keeping that from me for weeks, it wouldn't help because I wouldn't believe a word coming out of her mouth. She acknowledged that she messed up, insisted on caring about my well-being, but she admits that the cause of this whole affair was that she loved the affair partner. Despite telling me this, she still wants to know that I'm okay. I told her no, she doesn't deserve to know that I'm okay. The cheating was horrible enough by itself, but I assumed it was a sudden thing and that it wouldn't happen again. But I was a fool for believing that. Allowing the affair partner to live with her was a conscious decision, a slap in my face, and disrespected me to the fullest. I straightforwardly told her that she can't keep in contact with both of us. She can only contact me if he's out of the apartment. Otherwise, she can F off. That was the last thing I said to her, and I have not gotten a reply from her since March 21st, 2024. Fun fact, I was talking with her best friend about this whole situation about a week after this, and you want to know something? Apparently, he started living with her either the day we officially broke it off or the day after. What the F? I don't even know who she is anymore. The person I proposed to in December 2023 is long gone. I can't help her anymore with her problems because of what she has done to me. All I hope now is that she comes to her senses and realizes what a mistake she's making by having him live there with her. She's just such a broken individual right now. Want to know something else? Her parents are divorced. You know why they divorced? Her dad cheated on her mom. She despised her dad because of it, and she did the exact same thing to me. How ironic. So yeah, that's where I am at. I'm trying to heal, but it's hard. I can't stop the mental imagery of the affair from popping up, and I always wake up in the middle of the night ever since that happened. It is horrible. I am grateful for my friends and family who kept me sane, but it's still so hard knowing she cheated on me. I never thought she would do this to me after what we've been through together. Your fiancé not only cheats on you, but also lets the other guy crash at her place? That's some next level betrayal right there. And the irony of her parents' history repeating itself in your relationship? Talk about a cruel twist of fate. Your candid reaction to her excuses and justifications are both hilarious and relatable. I couldn't help but chuckle at your disbelief and righteous indignation. And let's not forget the cherry on top. Her best friend dropping the bomb that the affair partner moved in right after you two officially called it quits? I mean, seriously, talk about adding insult to injury. Let's look at the bright side here, OP. It sounds like you dodged a bullet the size of a cannonball by not getting stuck in a marriage with someone who could betray your trust so deeply. And let's not forget her lack of remorse or accountability. It's like she's playing the victim card while letting the real villain move in rent-free. Who needs that kind of drama in their life? So, the fact that she hasn't responded since March 21st? Good riddance, my friend. It's a clear sign that you deserve so much better than someone who can't even own up to their mistakes and make amends. Take this as a blessing in disguise. Trust me, when you find that person, you'll look back on this chapter of your life and be grateful that you didn't end up marrying someone who was never worthy of you in the first place. What would you have done? Share your thoughts with us in the comments below. And thank you for joining us today on rSpace. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. See you soon!